My God, I hate drugs.
Police are also investigating whether communists had anything to do with Batucabe's killing. That's as the Communist Party marks 50 years waging what it is known as the longest communist insurgency in the world. Defense officials say the communists are just fighting insignificance, calling their ideology irrelevant and obsolete. The Communist Party of the Philippines has released a 15-page statement to mark its golden anniversary. It calls on its members and sympathizers to carry on the armed struggle to pursue the party's ideology. At the Defense Department, Secretary Delfin Lorenzana admits the movement was popular among the masses from the late 70s to the early 90s.
Ang armado nila noon nationwide was estimate namin is 25,000 armado. After our Lambat Bitag operation that started in 1988 hanggang 1995, we reduced them to about 8,000 only. So bumaba. Hindi na sila nakaangat doon.
He says the CPP-NPA has lost its clout through the years, as shown by the dwindling membership and support. The Armed Forces says the CPP is down to more than 3,000 armed members nationwide, based largely in northern and eastern Mindanao.
Yung mga tao, hirap sa buhay, they are vulnerable to the propaganda of the left.
With its declining influence among the masses, Lorenzana says the CPP and its armed wing, the New People's Army, turned to lumads or indigenous peoples for new recruits. But with its support, the military says some lumad groups have turned against the rebels.
Ito ay isang positibong indikasyon na umaayaw na ang mismong mga lumad na dating sumuporta sa kanila dahil sa paggamit ng mga issue ng lipunan na kagaya ng kahirapan at kamangmangan ng ating mga lumad.
After suspending peace talks with the left, President Duterte has ordered a so-called whole-of-government approach to address the communist insurgency.
Yun din naman ang sinasabi ng CPP-NPA, naghihirap kayo kasi pinapabayaan kayo ng gobyerno. So we have to reverse it and bring in the whole-of-government into solving the problems of people in the countryside.
The military insists it has heavily crippled the CPP-NPA in the war zones, and through its campaign urging rebels and supporters to surrender, the armed forces has also stepped up its propaganda through mainstream and social media, tapping lumads and what it claims are former rebels to speak against the CPP-NPA.
Unang-una, we take exception sa term na propaganda because it always have a negative connotation. Hindi tayo nabobola, hindi ito propaganda.
President Duterte has said he will end the communist insurgency before he steps down in 2022. He has shown no signs of agreeing to resume the peace talks, something the left has also been calling for. The recent appointment of former AFP chief Carlito Galvez as presidential peace advisor, however, seems to dash any hope of a return to the negotiating table.
Check on our global headlines. Rescuers are using drones and sniffer dogs to try to find more survivors of the tsunami in Indonesia. These are aerial images show the scale of devastation on Java's western coast. The Anak Krakatau volcano is still erupting, and Indonesia has now adjusted nearby sensors to detect smaller tremors from the volcano instead of just the stronger earthquake tremors. Saturday's tsunami killed at least 430 people, and that number is expected to rise. More than 150 are still unaccounted for, and almost 22,000 are displaced in villages on the Java and Sumatra coast. U.S. President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania made a surprise visit to troops in Iraq Wednesday. A photo tweeted by the U.S. president's spokeswoman showed Mr. Trump posing for a photo with troops in uniform. Melania Trump stood smiling next to him. The visit makes good on Mr. Trump's promise to travel to an American war zone. The Trumps arrived after a secret overnight flight from Washington. It comes 15 years after the American invasion. And people in Canada are claiming their most famous citizen this Christmas is Santa Claus. Multiple Canadian government agencies confirm Santa and the entire Claus clan are citizens. Immigration officials say Santa's permanent residence is in the North Pole, and he has been issued a Canadian passport. The country's revenue agency also claims it has detailed tax records on all of Santa's operations. It appears it has granted St. Nick several exceptions to the nation's tax code, like allowing him to pay his elves with holiday cheer and accept cookies as payment for his work. But not all is well in the winter wonderland. The North Pole is hundreds of miles away from any inhabited area, and some contest Canada's sovereignty over it. Santa has been silent on the issue.
Authorities have identified 6 persons of interest, but none have been arrested or invited for questioning. Filipina National Police Chief Director General Oscar Albayalde says investigators are pursuing all possible motives, including politics, but he clarifies there is no evidence so far linking a mayor to the killing.
With regards to sinasabi nila na link yung isang mayor ay as of this time we have wala pa tayong substantial evidence that will link him dito sa pangyayari na to. But of course, we are not discounting the possibility na pwede rin siyang malink. So hindi naman natin sinasabing that he is totally off the hook already.
Batocabe was on his last term as congressman and was supposed to run for mayor of Daraga town in Albay in the 2019 elections.
Hello, CNN Philippines. Tom Sater here. I still hope you're enjoying the holidays. Things are going to get a little windy. They're going to get rather wet. I do not expect our depression here to grow much more than tropical storm strength. But even if it was to hold its status, the waves are going to kick up. The winds will pick up as well. But I'm concerned about not just the Bicol region, the Visayas, but that northern coastline. We're going to get in a little bit closer and take a look at this track. Stays a little bit further to the south. Yesterday I mentioned around southern part of Samar province. Still looks to be the case. But even as this slides over and loses some strength, it's more about a rain-making machine here. And heavy amounts when it encounters that higher terrain up to the north. Manila, you're looking at significant rainfall as well. But the bands will be moving in. I think landfall will be Thursday night into Friday morning, but we could see additional fall of rainfall and that unsettled period of rain really continue. Notice the colors of purple when we get into white. You're on 400 millimeters of rainfall. So again, a flash flood threat, maybe a landslide threat as well. But even into some of these regions here toward even Manila, it's going to be a wet couple of days. So please be careful with the ponding of water. Cold air continues to entrench itself across northeast China, the Korean peninsula. That cold air creating that snow that they're loving right now for some of the ski resorts. Not everyone, but this is really going to pile things up on that northern coastline of Japan. Looks good in Shanghai down toward parts of Hong Kong. But right now, let's look at the temperatures. Remember, 2 days ago, we were at 3 degrees, dropped to -1 for a high in Beijing. Now -5. Pyongyang, -11. And that's with blue skies. So temperatures really cold during those morning hours. But Hong Kong continues to stay in the low 20s. And they're blessed with the fair skies. So really nice. And you see that cloud cover a little thicker to the north with that morning fog in Chongqing. Drizzle as well, but things look nice off the coastline. Again, when we talk about this, we've already seen the shearing of some of these winds. High-level clouds are thickening now down in Mindanao. Of course, things will deteriorate, and we've got a good blossoming thunderstorms across southern coastline of Vietnam, staying away from Bangkok, although I wouldn't be surprised to see a passing shower there. Things are really starting to warm up. In parts of Indonesia, we're looking at the rainfall, scattered shower activity. Jakarta's only had 2 millimeters, but where we've had the tsunami problems, now rivers are flooding. This is causing a big concern for those still trying to get to some of those remote villages hit by that tsunami. Here are your numbers, 31 in Manila. We'll take a look at the next 48 hours. Again, the plume of most of the moisture offshore, these numbers are going to increase. So get ready, Legazpi, over 200 millimeters of rain. Stay safe in the rainfall. We'll continue to keep you updated, and we'll do this again tomorrow. Back to you.
That's meteorologist Tom Sater giving us the regional forecast straight from the CNN Global headquarters in Atlanta.
More global stories now. Japan is leaving the International Whaling Commission so it can restart commercial whaling in July. The country says it will only hunt whales with healthy population numbers and only within its territorial waters and exclusive economic zone. This in accordance with international law. The International Whaling Commission banned commercial whaling more than 30 years ago. Conservation groups like Greenpeace and countries like Australia are criticizing the move by Japan. Coastal communities along the Sunda Strait in Indonesia continue to live under the threat of another volcanic-triggered tsunami as there is no warning system for them. CNN's Ivan Watson has this report.
We're learning more about the origins of the deadly tsunami that wiped through parts of Indonesia on Saturday night, causing so much death and destruction. The Indonesian authorities have published this satellite photography, which shows a volcanic island in the Sunda Strait known as Anak Krakatau, or Child of Krakatoa, before and after the eruption on Saturday, when a huge chunk of the side of the volcano slid into the ocean, creating what is believed to have been this killer wave. In the wake of this, Indonesian authorities say they are changing their sensors, which were previously set up to detect earthquakes of minimum magnitude 5.0 or more, but now changing them to be more sensitive to volcanic eruptions that could have caused this tsunami. They're also testing their early warning system. Those tests will take place on the 26th of every month. The Indonesian president has ordered another early warning system to be put in place. We've learned in the wake of this that a system of early warnings for tsunamis that had been installed after the horrific 2004 December 26th tsunami, which killed hundreds of thousands of people across Southeast Asia. This is the 14th anniversary of that natural disaster. That early warning system of deep water buoys was largely defunct and in disrepair by 2012. That's putting pressure on the Indonesian authorities to do more to protect their tsunami-prone country and its long coastline from future natural disasters. Ivan Watson, CNN, Hong Kong.
No major injury affecting LeBron James. The Los Angeles Lakers have listed the King as day-to-day after an MRI confirmed he suffered a strained left groin. LBJ, who has not missed a game this season, hurt his groin in yesterday's match against the Golden State Warriors. LeBron had to leave the game in the third quarter, although the Lakers still went on to win 127-101. The Lakers will next face the Sacramento Kings tomorrow.